So The Incredibles 2 is finally out, and it doesn't suck, but I definitely don't think that it was worth a 14-year wait. It had a lot of pacing issues, and more importantly, a story that just didn't know where it wanted to go. Lots of plot points are just dropped, or don't really have any satisfying conclusions. My main gripe is that it didn't really progress things in this universe as much as I wanted it to. The story felt annoyingly similar to its superior predecessor, and in the end, nothing really substantial changes about the characters. Even the discovery of Jack Jack's abilities by the other family members doesn't lead to anything other than slapstick humor. The whole mystery behind this new villain, Screenslaver, was pretty predictable and anticlimactic. The final battle in the first movie was symbolic of the family finally working together to take down a common threat, but the second movie just goes with the mentality that bigger is better, adding more heroes and villains for a bigger final battle that didn't really mean anything in the end. I know it sounds like I'm really hating on this movie, but I still had a lot of fun watching it. The first half especially was great because it kept with that more mature style I loved from the original, the action scenes were creative, and the superhero family dynamic was still fun to watch. It's also beautifully animated with a more saturated comic book style, which I thought was a welcome improvement. It's an above average animated film for sure, but compared to Pixar's best and the original movie, it falls short. I just can't come to believe that this is the story Brad Bird waited 14 years to tell. This brings me to the main point of the video, how I think The Incredibles 2 could have lived up to the hype. Just a disclaimer, this isn't going to be a totally detailed rewrite, just some ideas I thought would be cool, maybe even for an Incredibles 3. Firstly, I really think there should have been a 14-year time jump, because as fans of the original, we've aged up too, so it would have been cool to see how the characters have changed over time like we have, kind of like Andy in Toy Story 3. Monsters U even did the same thing with most of the kids who watched the original going into or attending college at that time. Only issue is that this was a prequel, so we never got to know what happened with Boo after her door closed, which could have been a more interesting story than the one we got. Having the time jump would also make the film feel more different from the original, like a true progression after this long of a wait. You could still have the whole storyline about supers being illegal and have the family be in hiding, but make it seem like they haven't used their powers in years. Maybe have the opening scene of the actual movie with the Underminer be there to show why the city doesn't want supers because of the destruction they cause, and then flash forward to a future point in time, basically cutting out the Mr. Dever character from the equation. So while the whole family is older and more boring and ordinary, we get to see how far they've fallen from their glory days. We as an audience would then be like, damn, I miss the old Incredibles, and that's where the main emotional pull of the movie is going to come from. Obviously, each character should have their own B storyline so that we know how everyone is dealing with their lives in their own way. Like maybe some of them enjoy a more normal life while others are more depressed about the idea of not being heroes anymore. Basically, I want this to lead to an angsty teenage Jack Jack, finally honing all 17 of his powers, maybe after practicing using them in his downtime secretly. Jack Jack could be more upset about the whole situation and be easily manipulated into helping a villain who wants to bring supers into power over ordinary humans, basically the opposite of what Screenslaver in the actual movie wanted. They could have kind of a Darth Sidious and Vader type relationship. This could then be revealed to the other members of the family sometime in the movie, leading to the Incredibles having to get back into shape to take down Jack Jack, who in this movie would be seen as one of or the most powerful super because of his diverse power set. In the end, there could be a side of supers who support the villain and a side that just wants peace, which could result in a big ending battle. I know I implied at the beginning of the video that bigger isn't always better, but it can be if done right. What I mean is that even if there is a big crazy war of supers going on, we'll still focus on the more personal battle with the Incredibles having to fight Jack Jack and learning to work together again to take him down. However, in my version of the story, they fail physically and have to try to talk him out of his destructive ways. This could lead to a really emotional sequence, ending with Jack Jack realizing he was wrong and making it clear that he's just a kid that doesn't know what he's really doing. Characters could cry, and this could be the moment that impacts us as the viewers the most, like Toy Story 3's incinerator scene or the lake scene in Monsters University. Then with Jack Jack on their side, they could take down the main villain and have that happy ending. Now keep in mind that this is just a really rough sketch of a general storyline that I think would have been cooler. I understand that parts of this plot may bear some resemblance to other movies or be too somber in tone for an animated Disney movie, but what I'm trying to get across is that I think more focus on character development and progression into the future of this universe would have been more satisfying after such a long wait for a sequel to one of the best animated movies ever made. The first Guardians of the Galaxy movie didn't have the most original plot, but it was loved by audiences anyway because of its great character moments, which is what I think The Incredibles 2 didn't really deliver. Like most of the other Pixar sequels, it's still a good movie, but just not a great movie. I'm just hoping Toy Story 4 doesn't fall into the same boat.